In today's episode, we'll be soaking in some sunshine at Titlow Park. Seated right along the Tacoma Narrows, this park serves as a popular leisure spot for many residents of the South Puget Sound. With a busy BNSF main line running right through it, it's a great spot to watch trains in the summer. So stick around and let me show you some of what this area has to offer. Our first spot is just outside the park at the 9th Street grade crossing, right by the signals that bear the park's name. In case you couldn't tell from the flannel, it's a little chilly right now, 52 degrees, but I kind of like it. Helps me wake up a little bit faster on an early summer morning. Our view to the south is slightly obstructed by these old segments of railroad. I'm not sure how long they've been here, but they were here when I first discovered this spot about 3 months ago. Our first train has arrived, I-Tag 2, Intermodal Freight from Tacoma, Washington to the Global 2 terminal in Chicago, Illinois. Titlow lies just south of Washington State Highway 16. The tracks running through here are BNSF Seattle Subdivision. In 2021, passenger trains switched to using the Point Defiance bypass through Tacoma Rail's territory, so we won't see any passenger trains today. The first northbound train is an oil train from Palermo, North Dakota. It's hauling its share of black gold to the Phillips 66 refinery in Ferndale, Washington. Some of you may have noticed that new crossing signals are getting put in. I've heard that this area will become a quiet zone, so trains will no longer be allowed to use their horns when traveling through Titlow. It will be similar to other areas nearby like Steilacoom, Old Town, and parts of Tacoma, where speakers at the crossings imitate train horns. I'm not certain though, so if you have information to the contrary, feel free to leave a comment. One thing I like about this particular crossing is you're right next to the defect detector. It's a group of sensors that take information from the train as it passes and sends that information out over the radio. Here's another oil train for the Phillips 66 refinery, this one from Fryeburg, North Dakota. The second unit on this train has a 25th anniversary paint scheme. The 25th anniversary paint scheme has logos of BNSF's predecessor railroads on the side. With the company's 30th anniversary approaching in 2025, I wonder if we'll see new commemorative locomotives. This crossing is right by the Narrows Marina. You'll see a lot of personal watercraft here. And if you like beer, check out Narrows Brewing. They have a tap room attached to this building. Before I can relocate to the next crossing, a northbound empty trash train appears. O-GLSE on its way to Seattle. Now we've moved to the 6th Avenue crossing and into Titlow Park. This crossing has a great view of the water. Across the Narrows you can see Fox Island and the Olympic Peninsula. Coming around the corner is a train I like to call Everett. It takes garbage from Everett to the Republic landfill in Roosevelt, Washington. The letters here spell out Tacoma, the city that Titlow Park is in. In the background is the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, which we'll talk more about later. It's only about 20 minutes until Everett's opposite shows up, Rue Eve, taking empty garbage containers back to Everett. Here on the BNSF Seattle subdivision, southbound garbage trains are loaded and northbound ones are empty. Your nose can also help you judge whether it's loaded or not. Inside the park, there's a lagoon that is a popular spot for waterfowl to congregate. Just take a look at these ducks. There's also an osprey up above. Watch how it hovers in place, preparing to strike. After a few attempts, the osprey is successful and flies off with its catch. Speaking of catches, here's a manifest train en route to Portland, Oregon. One thing that I like about this park is if you ever get hungry around this time of year, you can always eat the blackberries. Sweet. The park also has a wooded area with trails running through it. If it wasn't for the gentle roar of Highway 16, you'd think you were far away from the city. You may even see some wildlife along the trails. The trail takes us to Hidden Beach with a great view of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. The original bridge infamously collapsed in 1940 due to a phenomenon called aeroelastic flutter. I'll link a newsreel in the description if you'd like to watch it. This train isn't really a train at all. It's a light power move, taking a couple of engines north, probably to Tacoma. If you don't mind a little extra walking in the woods, I highly recommend checking out Hidden Beach. It's a nice quiet spot to relax. If you do visit, I can't promise this bridge will be here though, since there are plans to replace it. Might just be a construction site. Here's our train of the day. IG4SE, northbound Intermodal Freight. Not only is it long, but the crew on board is friendly too. Intermodal trains are some of my favorites to watch because of how colorful they can be. I've always wondered why sometimes longer containers get stacked on shorter ones though. If you know, feel free to tell me in the comments. It's time to head back to 6th Avenue for lunch. Today we'll be going to the Beach Tavern. It's a bar conveniently located right next to the park and the railroad tracks. I got the fried clam strips with fries for $12.50, which I'd say is a reasonable price for the area, and it was pretty good. From where I sat, you could even see the tracks outside. Sometimes you can even catch some cool cars parked out front too. I set back up at the crossing for one more train, a northbound intermodal, only about 30 cars long. That's all for today, as wildfire smoke is making it hazier out here. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it interesting. We'll return here after the city renovates the park and check out what's new. I've been Warren Robertson. Take care and safe travels.